There was a time when this house was never quiet. Every room carried a sound. The kitchen echoed with laughter. The hallway heard running footsteps. The living room was filled with conversations, arguments, celebrations, and ordinary moments that felt so normal back then. I remember waking up early in the morning and hearing someone ask where their shoes were. Someone else would be rushing to leave. Another person would be searching for car keys they had misplaced for the third time that week. At the time, I thought those moments were exhausting. Now I would give anything to hear them again. Today, when I wake up, the house greets me with silence. The kind of silence that has weight. The kind that sits beside you during breakfast. The kind that follows you from room to room. The kind that reminds you that life has changed. No one visits me anymore. At first, I made excuses for everyone. They're busy. They have work. The kids have school. They'll come next weekend. Then next weekend became next month. Next month became next year. And eventually, I stopped looking through the window every afternoon. I stopped expecting the phone to ring. I stopped preparing extra food just in case someone showed up. You learn certain things when you grow old. One of those things is that disappointment hurts less when you stop expecting. But there is another truth. Even when you stop expecting, you never stop hoping. Hope is stubborn. It stays alive in the smallest corners of the heart. Every birthday, you hope someone remembers. Every holiday, you hope someone visits. Every special occasion, you hope to hear a knock on the door. Sometimes that knock never comes, and that hurts more than most people understand. When you're young, loneliness feels temporary. You call a friend. You go somewhere. You distract yourself. But loneliness in old age feels different. It isn't just about being alone. It's about becoming invisible. One day, you realize the world keeps moving without asking if you're okay. The same people who once needed you every day no longer need you at all. That realization can break a person's heart if they let it. I almost let it break mine. For months, I sat in this house thinking about what I had lost. I thought about the family gatherings, the birthday parties, the Christmas mornings, the summer vacations, the late night conversations around the dinner table. I replayed them over and over like old movies, and every memory felt like both a gift and a wound. A gift because I had lived those moments. A wound because they were gone. One afternoon, I found an old photo album. The cover was worn. The pages were yellow. The pictures were fading. I sat down and started turning the pages. There I was, young, strong, busy, always in motion. There were photographs of birthdays I barely remembered, pictures of children smiling with missing teeth, family vacations, anniversaries, ordinary days that somehow became extraordinary because someone took a picture. As I looked through those photographs, something unexpected happened. I stopped feeling sorry for myself. Instead, I felt grateful. Not because my life was perfect, it wasn't. Not because every memory was happy, it wasn't. But because I realized something important. Many people spend their entire lives waiting for happiness. I had actually lived it. I had experienced love. I had experienced friendship. I had experienced family. I had experienced purpose. Those things had been real. The fact that they ended didn't make them less valuable. In fact, it made them more valuable. A sunset is beautiful because it doesn't last forever. A flower is precious because it eventually fades. Life works the same way. The moments we treasure most are often the ones we cannot keep. That evening, I sat on my porch and watched the sun go down. The sky turned orange, then pink, then purple, and for the first time in a long while, I didn't feel abandoned. I felt connected. Connected to every version of myself that had ever existed. The young man who dreamed big dreams. The husband who worked long hours. The father who worried constantly. The older man sitting quietly on a porch. They were all the same person, and every stage of life had something to teach. When we're young, we think life is about gaining more money, more success, more recognition, more possessions. But eventually, life becomes a lesson in letting go. You let go of jobs. You let go of titles. You let go of expectations. Sometimes you even let go of people. And through all that letting go, you discover what truly matters. Love matters. Kindness matters. Character matters. Everything else eventually disappears. I wish someone had told me that when I was younger. I spent years chasing things that don't matter now. The expensive purchases. The endless worries. The arguments I thought were important. None of them matter today. What matters are the people I loved. The lives I touched. The moments I shared. Those are the things that survive. Not in photographs. Not in bank accounts. But in hearts. As darkness settled across the neighborhood, I noticed something. The silence no longer felt like an enemy. It felt like a teacher. Silence forces you to listen. Not to the television. Not to social media. Not to the noise of the world. But to yourself. And when you listen carefully enough, you begin hearing truths that have been waiting for years. One of those truths is this: your worth does not depend on how many people visit you. Your value does not disappear because the phone stops ringing. Your life does not become meaningless because the house becomes quiet. You are still valuable. You are still important. You are still worthy of love, even when no one seems to notice. That may be the hardest lesson of old age. Learning to believe in your own worth when the world stops reminding you. Learning to respect yourself when applause disappears. Learning to appreciate your own company. I won't pretend it's easy. Some days are harder than others. Some mornings still feel lonely. Some evenings still feel long. But I have learned that loneliness and peace are not the same thing. You can be alone and still have peace. You can be forgotten by some people and still be deeply loved. You can sit in a quiet house and still live a meaningful life. And if no one visits me anymore, then let me tell you this. Do not wait for other people to give your life value. Do not measure your worth by how often someone calls. Do not believe that your best days are behind you. As long as you are breathing, your story is still being written. As long as your heart is beating, your life still matters. As long as you can love, forgive, learn, and grow, you still have purpose. The house may be quiet, but the soul does not have to be. And sometimes, in the deepest silence, we finally hear the truths we were too busy to hear before. There was a time when I believed that love guaranteed permanence. I thought that if you loved people enough, they would always stay close. I thought that if you sacrificed for others, they would remember. I thought that if you gave your best years to family, friendship, and relationships, those bonds would remain strong forever. Age has a way of teaching difficult lessons, not cruel lessons, not bitter lessons, just honest ones. One of the hardest truths I have learned is that people do not always leave because they stop loving you. Sometimes they leave because life pulls them in different directions. Sometimes they become overwhelmed with responsibilities. Sometimes they become distracted by goals, careers, marriages, children, and problems of their own. And sometimes, without meaning to, they slowly drift away. The distance often happens so gradually that neither side notices it at first. A missed phone call becomes a missed week. A missed week becomes a missed month. A missed month becomes a missed year. And before you realize it, the relationship that once filled your life exists mostly in memories. I remember sitting in this very chair one afternoon, thinking about all the people who used to be part of my daily life. Some were family, some were friends, some were neighbors, some were coworkers. There was a time when I couldn't imagine life without them. Yet years had passed since I had spoken to some of them. At first, that realization filled me with sadness. I felt forgotten. I felt abandoned. I wondered whether I had somehow failed. Maybe I wasn't interesting anymore. Maybe I wasn't useful anymore. Maybe people only valued me when they needed something. Those thoughts can become dangerous when you spend too much time alone. They grow in the quiet. They whisper lies. They convince you that your absence doesn't matter. But one evening, something happened that changed the way I looked at everything. I found an old notebook. Inside were names, dates, and memories from decades ago. As I read through those pages, I realized something surprising. Many of the people I missed had once been carrying burdens I never fully understood. One friend had struggled with financial hardship. Another had been caring for a sick parent. Someone else had been dealing with personal heartbreak. Back then, I had only seen the surface of their lives. Now, with the wisdom that comes from age, I could see the bigger picture. And I began to understand something important. Most people are not intentionally neglectful. Most people are simply overwhelmed. The world asks so much of them. Work demands their attention. Bills demand their attention. Children demand their attention. Unexpected problems demand their attention. Every day feels like a race. And somewhere in that race, relationships sometimes get left behind. That realization didn't erase the loneliness, but it softened the resentment. And resentment is a heavy burden to carry. For a long time, I carried it without realizing. I was angry that people didn't call, angry that they didn't visit, angry that they seemed to have moved on without me. The anger wasn't loud. It was quiet. It sat deep inside my heart. But it affected everything. It made every silence feel personal, every empty holiday feel intentional, every forgotten birthday feel like proof that I no longer mattered. The truth was far more complicated. People were living their lives, just as I had once lived mine. That realization brought me peace, because when I looked honestly at my younger years, I remembered something uncomfortable. There were people I had unintentionally neglected too. There were elderly relatives I should have visited more often. There were old friends I meant to call. There were neighbors I promised to check on someday. I wasn't a bad person. I was simply busy. And suddenly, I realized something. Perhaps the people who rarely visit me today aren't bad people either. Perhaps they're simply trapped inside the same whirlwind of responsibilities that once consumed me. That thought changed everything. Instead of viewing myself as a victim, I began viewing life with more compassion. Compassion is powerful. It frees you from bitterness. It allows you to see people as imperfect human beings rather than villains. And once bitterness begins to leave your heart, something beautiful takes its place. Understanding. I started praying for the people I missed. Not because I expected anything in return. Not because I hoped guilt would bring them back, but because I genuinely wanted them to be happy. I wanted their marriages to succeed. I wanted their children to thrive. I wanted their health to remain strong. I wanted their dreams to come true. And as strange as it sounds, wishing good things for others made my own loneliness easier to carry. Love becomes lighter when it is not tied to expectations. Many people spend their lives keeping score. I called them 3 times. They never visit. I did so much for them. They owe me. Keeping score is exhausting. Relationships were never meant to be accounting systems. Love is not a business transaction. The moment we start measuring every act of kindness, we begin poisoning the very thing we are trying to protect. One morning, I sat outside with a cup of coffee and watched a young father walking down the street with his daughter. The little girl held his hand tightly. She laughed at something he said. The father smiled. For a brief moment, I saw myself decades earlier. I remembered rushing through life, working long hours, trying to provide, trying to solve problems, trying to build a future. Back then, I rarely thought about growing old. Old age seemed impossibly far away, yet here I am. And that young father will eventually arrive here too. Life moves faster than anyone expects. One day, you're making plans for the future. The next, you're wondering where the years went. That realization taught me another lesson. The people who seem absent today may someday understand exactly how you feel. One day they may sit in a quiet room. One day they may wait for a phone call. One day they may miss someone who rarely visits. Life has a way of teaching every generation similar lessons, not as punishment, but as wisdom. And because of that, I no longer wish guilt upon anyone. I don't want people to suffer so they can understand me. I simply hope they learn to value their relationships while they still have time. Because time is the one thing nobody gets back. Money can be earned again. Possessions can be replaced. Opportunities can return. But time never comes back. Every missed conversation disappears forever. Every postponed visit eventually becomes impossible. Every delayed expression of love carries risk. None of us know how many opportunities remain. That is why I want to tell you something important. If there is someone you care about, call them. If there is someone you miss, reach out. If there is someone you love, tell them. Don't wait for the perfect moment. The perfect moment rarely arrives. Life is happening right now, not tomorrow, not next month, not someday, today. As I sit here reflecting on the people who no longer visit, I realize they have still given me something valuable. They have taught me forgiveness. They have taught me patience. They have taught me compassion. They have taught me how to love without conditions. Those lessons may have come through disappointment, but they are lessons worth learning. And perhaps that is one of the hidden gifts of growing older. You begin to understand that every experience contains a lesson, even loneliness, even heartbreak, even absence. The people who drift away leave behind empty spaces. But those empty spaces can become places where wisdom grows. I still miss many people. I still wish certain relationships were closer. I still hope for unexpected phone calls and surprise visits. I am human. Those feelings never completely disappear. But I no longer allow those feelings to define my happiness. My peace cannot depend on someone else's schedule. My joy cannot depend on someone else's attention. My worth cannot depend on someone else's memory. Those things must come from within. And that is what old age has finally taught me. The people who forgot to visit may never know how much they taught me. They may never realize how their absence changed my perspective. But their lessons remain. And if no one visits me anymore, then let me tell you this. Do not let disappointment harden your heart. Do not let loneliness turn into bitterness. Do not assume that being forgotten means you are unimportant. The people who drift away are still part of your story. And sometimes the greatest lessons come not from those who stay, but from those who leave. Because through their absence, you discover a strength you never knew you had. A strength that does not depend on applause. A strength that does not depend on attention. A strength that quietly whispers, "You are enough, even when the room is empty." For a long time, I lived beside the window. Not literally every hour, of course, but emotionally. I would hear a car slow down and look up. I would hear footsteps outside and pause. I would hear a phone vibration and feel my heart lift for a moment before realizing it was a spam message, a reminder, or something meant for someone else. Hope became a reflex. Every sound carried possibility. Maybe today someone would come. Maybe today someone would remember. Maybe today the silence would break. When you spend enough time waiting, you start arranging your life around the possibility of interruption. I kept the living room tidy. I kept extra coffee in the kitchen. I kept stories ready to tell. I kept myself emotionally prepared for a visit that rarely arrived. What I didn't realize was that waiting had become my full-time occupation. I was still breathing, still eating, still sleeping, but I wasn't fully living. My attention was fixed on the door. My happiness was tied to events outside my control. And slowly, without noticing, I had surrendered my present moment to an imagined future. The day that changed everything began like any other. I woke up early. The house was quiet. The weather was mild. I made breakfast for one. I carried my coffee to the window and sat down. Hours passed. No knock, no call, no surprise visit. Around midday, I caught my reflection in the glass. For a second, I barely recognized myself. Not because I looked old. I already knew I was old. What startled me was the expression. I looked like a person standing on a train platform after the last train had already left. Still waiting, still expecting movement that was no longer coming. And in that moment, something inside me broke. But not in a tragic way. It broke open. A question rose in my mind. How many more days will I spend waiting instead of living? The question frightened me because I knew the answer. If I did nothing, I could spend years this way. Years measured by missed expectations. Years defined by empty afternoons. Years slowly shrinking while I stared at a door. So I stood up. I put down the coffee. I walked away from the window. That sounds small, but emotionally it felt enormous. I wasn't giving up on people. I wasn't declaring that no one would ever visit again. I was giving up the idea that my life could not begin until someone else arrived. There is a difference. That afternoon, I opened the closet and found my walking shoes. I hadn't used them in months. I drove to a nearby park. At first, I felt awkward, almost guilty, as if I were abandoning my post. What if someone came while I was gone? What if today was finally the day? Then another thought answered. If someone truly wants to see you, they can call, leave a message, or come back. Your life does not have to remain suspended. I started walking. The path curved around a pond. Children were feeding ducks. A couple sat on a bench sharing lunch. A man about my age was stretching before a jog. No one knew me. No one cared who I was. And strangely, that felt freeing. For the first time in a long while, I wasn't the lonely person in the quiet house. I was simply a human being walking through a beautiful afternoon. I noticed things I had stopped noticing. The sound of leaves moving in the wind, the reflection of clouds on the water, the smell of grass after recent rain, the rhythm of my own footsteps. Presence is a remarkable medicine. Loneliness often lives in the gap between what is happening and what we wish were happening. Waiting pulls us away from reality. Presence brings us back. I began walking regularly after that day. Then I added other small changes. I started reading again, not just headlines, but books that made me think. I learned how to make a few new recipes instead of reheating the same meals. I called people occasionally without keeping score. Sometimes they answered. Sometimes they didn't. I stopped interpreting every unanswered call as a verdict on my worth. I started writing memories down. At first, I thought I was writing for myself. Later, I realized I was writing for anyone who might someday wonder what my life had been like. A surprising thing happened as my days filled with purpose. The loneliness did not disappear completely, but it lost its throne. It was no longer the ruler of every hour. There is a misconception that healing means no longer feeling pain. That is not my experience. Healing means the pain is no longer the center of the universe. I still missed people. I still had difficult evenings. I still sometimes glanced toward the driveway when I heard a car. But my identity expanded beyond waiting. One evening at the park, I met another older man sitting alone on a bench. We started talking. He told me his wife had died several years earlier. His children lived in different states. He said something I'll never forget. At some point, I realized I had two choices: become a museum of my past or become a participant in my remaining life. A museum of my past. The phrase struck me deeply. I had been curating memories, dusting them, revisiting them, preserving them, while neglecting the life that still remained. Memories deserve honor. They do not deserve exclusive ownership of the present. That conversation became another turning point. I began asking myself a new question each morning. Not, will anyone visit today? But, how will I participate in life today? Sometimes the answer was simple. Take a walk. Read a chapter. Cook a proper meal. Write a page. Call a friend. Watch the sunset outdoors instead of through glass. Small actions matter because they break the spell of passivity. Waiting is passive. Living is active. You don't need a dramatic transformation. You need movement. One honest step, then another. I wish I could tell you that after I changed my mindset, people suddenly returned. That would make a neat story. Life is usually messier. Some relationships improved. A few people called more often. A neighbor began stopping by occasionally. But the biggest change was internal, not external. The window stopped being an altar. it became just a window. I could sit there and enjoy the view without turning every passing car into a test of my importance. That freedom is hard to describe. When your emotional state is no longer controlled by whether someone arrives, you reclaim ownership of your days. You stop outsourcing your happiness. You stop treating yourself like a waiting room. You become the main character of your remaining life again. And that is what I want to tell anyone who feels forgotten. Please hear me carefully. The goal is not to stop loving people. The goal is not to stop hoping. The goal is not to become cold or detached. The goal is to stop placing your entire existence on hold. Love people, but live your life. Hope for connection, but build meaning anyway. Leave the door unlocked if you wish, but don't spend every hour staring at it. There are still books to read, conversations to have, skills to learn, parks to walk through, sunsets to witness, meals to enjoy, prayers to pray, stories to tell, kindness to give, and yes, even joy to discover. Not the loud, youthful joy of a crowded house, a quieter joy, a steadier joy, the joy of being fully present in the life that remains. The day I stopped waiting by the window was not the day loneliness ended. It was the day my life resumed. And if no one visits me anymore, then let me tell you this: do not build a home inside expectation. Do not sit at the window of your life watching other people pass by while your own days disappear. Walk away from the glass sometimes. Open the door for yourself. Step outside. Feel the air. Join the world that is still happening. Because the greatest tragedy is not that someone fails to visit. For many years, I thought loneliness was my enemy. I fought against it. I tried to escape it. I feared it. Whenever the house felt too quiet, I turned on the television. Whenever the evenings felt too long, I searched for distractions. Whenever painful memories surfaced, I pushed them away. I believed that loneliness was something to avoid at all costs. But life has a strange way of teaching us lessons we never wanted to learn. And sometimes the lessons we resist the most become the ones that change us the most. The truth is, loneliness became one of my greatest teachers. I know that sounds strange. Most people think of loneliness as a punishment, a sign that something is wrong, a condition that needs to be fixed immediately. I used to think that too. But after years of sitting with it, listening to it, and learning from it, I discovered something unexpected. Loneliness was not trying to destroy me. It was trying to show me something. You see, when your life is busy, you rarely stop to examine yourself. There is always another task, another responsibility, another appointment, another distraction. You keep moving. You keep doing. You keep filling every empty space with activity. But when you grow older, many of those activities disappear. The children grow up. The career ends. The responsibilities become fewer. The phone rings less often. The invitations become rare. And suddenly, you are left alone with your own thoughts. At first, that can feel terrifying, because there is nowhere to hide, no noise loud enough to silence your heart, no schedule busy enough to distract you from yourself. You finally meet the person you have been living with your entire life, yourself. And that meeting can be uncomfortable. I remember sitting alone one evening after dinner. The sun had already disappeared. The house was dark except for a small lamp in the corner. I had no plans, no visitors, no phone calls, nothing demanding my attention, just silence. In that silence, memories began appearing one by one, not just the happy memories, the painful ones too, the mistakes, the regrets, the words I wished I could take back. The opportunities I failed to recognize, the relationships I neglected, the moments when I should have been kinder, the moments when pride got in the way. For years, I had carried those memories like heavy stones in a backpack. I never unpacked them. I just kept carrying them. But that night, something changed. Instead of running from those memories, I looked directly at them. And for the first time, I understood something important. Every person has regrets. Every person has failures. Every person has chapters they wish they could rewrite. The difference is not whether regrets exist. The difference is whether we allow them to define us. I could spend the rest of my life replaying my mistakes, or I could learn from them and move forward. That realization felt like opening a window in a room that had been closed for years. Fresh air entered, a burden lifted, and slowly I began forgiving myself. Self-forgiveness is one of the hardest things a person can do. We often show more mercy to strangers than we show to ourselves. We understand other people's mistakes. We excuse other people's imperfections. But when it comes to our own failures, we become harsh judges. For years, I blamed myself for things that happened decades ago. I replayed conversations. I analyzed decisions. I imagined different outcomes, as if somehow I could change the past through enough worrying. Of course, I couldn't. The past remained exactly where it was. But loneliness gave me enough quiet to finally understand that. The past is a place to learn from, not a place to live. Another lesson loneliness taught me was gratitude. Now, that may sound surprising. After all, what could loneliness possibly teach someone about gratitude? The answer is simple. When everything slows down, you start noticing things you once ignored. I began appreciating ordinary mornings, the smell of coffee, the warmth of sunlight through the window, the sound of birds outside, the comfort of a favorite chair, the beauty of a peaceful afternoon. These were not dramatic moments. They would never appear in headlines. Nobody would celebrate them on social media. Yet they carried a quiet kind of happiness. A happiness I had overlooked for most of my life. When I was younger, I believed happiness lived in big achievements, promotions, purchases, success, recognition. Now I understand something different. The happiest moments are often the simplest ones. A good conversation, a sincere smile, a calm evening, a beautiful sunset, a heart free from bitterness. Those things become priceless as you grow older. Loneliness also taught me how little control I truly have. For most of my life, I wanted to manage everything. I wanted predictable outcomes. I wanted certainty. I wanted guarantees. But life doesn't offer guarantees. People change. Circumstances change. Health changes. Plans change. Nothing stays exactly the same. At first, that reality frustrated me. Then it liberated me. Because once you accept that you cannot control everything, you stop exhausting yourself trying. You focus on what you can control. Your attitude, your actions, your kindness, your response to challenges. Those things belong to you. The rest must be released. One afternoon, I watched leaves falling from a tree in my yard. The wind carried them wherever it wished. Some landed on the grass. Some drifted into the street. Some disappeared from sight. As I watched them, I thought about life. We spend so much time trying to hold on, trying to prevent change, trying to keep things exactly as they are. Yet nature teaches a different lesson. Everything changes. Every season ends. Every chapter closes. Every life evolves. The beauty is not in resisting change. The beauty is in embracing it. That lesson brought me peace. Because once I stopped fighting reality, I could finally appreciate it. I no longer spent every day wishing things were different. I started asking how I could make the most of what already existed. And that question transformed my perspective. Loneliness taught me another truth as well. Being alone and being unloved are not the same thing. For a long time, I confused the two. I thought fewer visits meant less love. I thought fewer phone calls meant less importance. I thought physical distance meant emotional distance. But that isn't always true. People can love you deeply and still be absent. People can care about you and still become distracted by life. People can carry you in their hearts, even when they fail to show it consistently. Understanding that truth removed a great deal of pain from my life. It allowed me to stop measuring love solely by frequency. Instead, I learned to appreciate the moments that did happen. A call, a message, a visit, a memory shared, a simple expression of care. When you stop demanding perfection, gratitude becomes easier. And gratitude changes everything. The remarkable thing about gratitude is that it doesn't erase problems. It simply prevents problems from becoming your entire reality. You can be lonely and grateful. You can face challenges and still recognize blessings. You can experience loss while appreciating what remains. That balance is where peace lives. Today, when I sit alone in this quiet house, I no longer see loneliness as a curse. I see it as a companion that taught me lessons nobody else could teach. It taught me patience. It taught me acceptance. It taught me self-forgiveness. It taught me gratitude. It taught me how to find value in ordinary moments. Most importantly, it taught me that peace does not come from having everything you want. Peace comes from appreciating what you already have. And if no one visits me anymore, then let me tell you this: do not fear loneliness so much that you never listen to what it has to teach. Sometimes the quiet seasons of life contain the deepest wisdom. Sometimes the empty rooms echo truths that crowded rooms never reveal. Sometimes the greatest growth happens when nobody is watching. You may not have chosen the loneliness. I certainly didn't choose mine. But if it has arrived, don't waste it. Learn from it. Listen to it. Allow it to show you who you really are. Because one day, you may discover what I discovered. That loneliness is not always the end of something. Sometimes it is the beginning of understanding yourself in a way you never could before. And that understanding can become one of the greatest gifts of your entire life. As I sit here today, the house is quiet once again. The clock on the wall continues its steady rhythm. The sunlight slowly moves across the floor. Outside, cars pass by. People hurry from one place to another. Life continues, just as it always has. And I sit here, an old person with more memories behind me than years ahead of me. That reality used to frighten me. There was a time when I didn't want to think about getting older. I didn't want to think about endings. I didn't want to think about how quickly time was moving. But age changes your perspective. You eventually realize that pretending time isn't passing does not stop it from passing. You learn to look at life honestly. And when you do, something remarkable happens. Fear slowly gives way to wisdom. You begin seeing things more clearly than ever before. When I was young, I believed life was long. I believed there would always be more time, more opportunities, more conversations, more chances to make things right, more chances to say the things that mattered. But now, after all these years, I understand that time is life's most precious gift. Not money, not possessions, not status, not achievements, time. Everything else can be replaced. Time cannot. That is why there is one last thing I want you to know. If you are listening to my story right now, please do not wait. Do not wait to tell people you love them. Do not wait to forgive someone. Do not wait to call your parents. Do not wait to visit your grandparents. Do not wait to reconnect with an old friend. Do not wait to become the person you were meant to be. Because waiting is dangerous. Most people believe they have more time than they actually do. I used to believe that too. I remember saying things like, I'll visit next month. I'll call next week. I'll spend more time with them when work slows down. I'll make time someday. Someday. What a deceptive word that is. Many beautiful intentions disappear inside that word. Many relationships fade because of that word. Many opportunities are lost because of that word. The truth is, someday is never guaranteed. Only today is. I learned that lesson through loss. Over the years, I attended funerals for people I thought I would see again. People I thought would always be there. People I assumed had more time. Friends disappeared. Family members passed away. Neighbors moved away. One by one, familiar faces became memories. Each loss taught me the same lesson. Nothing lasts forever. At first, that realization felt painful. Now it feels meaningful. Because when you understand that life is temporary, you begin appreciating it more deeply. You stop taking ordinary moments for granted. You stop assuming people will always be there. You stop postponing what truly matters. And you begin living with greater intention. One afternoon, not long ago, I was looking through an old box of letters and photographs. Some of the photographs were over 50 years old. The people in them looked so young, full of dreams. full of plans, full of confidence that the future would unfold exactly as expected. Looking at those photographs, I realized something. Every person in those pictures believed they had plenty of time. Yet decades passed in what felt like the blink of an eye. And suddenly, here I was. The years I once looked forward to had become memories I looked back upon. Life moves faster than we realize. That is why I want you to treasure the people who are still here. Not tomorrow. Today. Call your mother. Visit your father. Spend time with your children. Sit with your grandparents. Listen to their stories. Ask them questions. One day, those stories will no longer be available. One day, the chair they sat in may be empty. One day, you may wish for just one more conversation. I know this because there are people I would give anything to speak with one more time. Just once. Not for hours. Just a few minutes. Just enough to hear their voice again. Just enough to say what was left unsaid. But life does not always grant second chances. That is why first chances matter so much. Another thing I have learned is that success means very little if it costs you the people you love. The world teaches us to chase achievement. Work harder. Buy more. Accomplish more. There is nothing wrong with ambition. There is nothing wrong with hard work. But never forget why you are working so hard in the first place. Many people spend their entire lives building a future they never slow down to enjoy. They sacrifice relationships for success. Then later, they discover that success feels surprisingly empty when there is nobody nearby to share it with. The richest moments of my life were not the moments when I earned the most money. They were not the moments when people admired me. They were not the moments when everything went according to plan. The richest moments were simple. Family dinners, long conversations, shared laughter, road trips, holiday gatherings, holding someone's hand during difficult times, watching children grow. Those are the moments that remain. Everything else fades. As I have grown older, I have also realized something beautiful. A meaningful life is not measured by how many people remember your name. It is measured by how many lives were touched because you existed. You do not need fame. You do not need recognition. You do not need millions of followers. You simply need kindness. Kindness leaves a lasting mark. A kind word may be remembered for decades. A small act of generosity may change someone's life. A moment of compassion may become a memory another person carries forever. Never underestimate the power of simple goodness. The older I become, the more convinced I am that kindness is one of the greatest legacies a person can leave behind. People may forget what you owned. People may forget what you achieved. People may even forget many of the things you said, but they rarely forget how you made them feel. That is why I try to choose kindness whenever possible, not because I am perfect. Far from it, but because I understand now what truly matters. And perhaps that understanding is one of the gifts that comes with age. The truth is, my life is not over yet. I still have mornings to wake up to. I still have sunsets to watch. I still have lessons to learn. I still have gratitude to express. I still have love to give. And so do you. No matter how old you are, no matter how lonely you feel, no matter how many disappointments you have experienced, as long as you are alive, your story is not finished. There are still pages waiting to be written. There are still blessings waiting to be noticed. There are still people whose lives can be made better simply because you exist. And if no one visits me anymore, then let me tell you this one final thing. Do not spend your life counting who failed to show up. Spend your life appreciating those who did. Do not spend your life mourning every closed door. Celebrate the doors that remain open. Do not focus only on what has been lost. Remember what has been given. Because even after all these years, after all the goodbyes, after all the quiet afternoons and empty rooms, I can honestly say this life has been a gift. An imperfect gift. A difficult gift. A surprising gift. But a gift nonetheless. And when my time finally comes, I hope people will not remember me because I was important. I hope they remember me because I was kind. because I loved deeply, because I forgave often, because I appreciated the ordinary moments, because I never stopped believing in the beauty of life, even when the house became quiet. And if you remember nothing else from my story, remember this: love people while you can, forgive quickly, be kind generously, live fully, and never assume there will always be another tomorrow. Because the greatest treasures in life are not the things we own. They are the moments we share and the people we love along the way. As we come to the end of this story, I want you to imagine something. Imagine an old house standing quietly at the end of a peaceful street. The paint may be faded. The porch may creak. The rooms may no longer be filled with the laughter they once held. But inside that house lives a lifetime of memories. Every wall has witnessed something. Every room has a story. Every photograph carries a chapter of a life that was fully lived. That house is a lot like many of us, especially those of us who have grown older. From the outside, people may see silence. They may see wrinkles. They may see gray hair. They may see someone sitting alone. But what they do not see is the entire world that person carries inside. They do not see the sacrifices. They do not see the heartbreaks. They do not see the victories. They do not see the dreams that were pursued, the tears that were shed, the battles that were fought, or the love that was given. Every elderly person you meet is carrying a library of stories, a lifetime of lessons, a collection of experiences that no book can fully capture. And perhaps that is one of the saddest realities of modern life. Many people never stop long enough to listen. The world has become fast, too fast. Everyone is rushing. Everyone is busy. Everyone is looking ahead. Very few people stop and look back. Very few people sit down and ask an older person, "Tell me your story." Yet some of the greatest wisdom in the world is sitting quietly in living rooms, on front porches, in nursing homes, and at kitchen tables, waiting for someone to care enough to listen. If you are fortunate enough to still have elderly people in your life, please do not take them for granted. Call them, visit them, listen to them, ask questions. Let them tell you about the world they grew up in. Let them tell you about their mistakes. Let them tell you about their dreams. Let them tell you about the people they loved. One day, those stories may disappear forever. And once they are gone, no amount of wishing can bring them back. I know that because there are voices I would love to hear one more time. There are people whose stories ended before I was ready. There are conversations I wish had lasted longer. There are hugs I wish I had held onto a little tighter. That is one of the reasons I wanted to tell you this story. Not because I want sympathy, not because I want pity, but because I want understanding. I want people to realize that loneliness is more common than they think. Behind many front doors are people waiting for a phone call, waiting for a visit, waiting for someone to remember them. Not because they are needy, not because they are weak, but because they are human. Human beings were created for connection. We were never meant to walk through life completely alone. A simple visit can brighten an entire week. A short phone call can bring comfort for days. A few minutes of genuine attention can remind someone that they still matter. Never underestimate the value of your presence. Sometimes your presence is the greatest gift you can give. Not money, not presents, not grand gestures. Just your time, just your attention, just your willingness to be there. As I reflect on everything I have shared, I realize something beautiful. Even though no one visits me as often anymore, I am not empty. I am not defeated. I am not forgotten. Because my life was never defined by how many people came through my door. My life was defined by how much love passed through my heart. And when I look back, I see love everywhere. I see it in the sacrifices I made. I see it in the people I cared for. I see it in the friendships I enjoyed. I see it in the family memories I still cherish. I see it in the lessons life taught me. I see it in the blessings I once overlooked. And suddenly, the loneliness no longer feels as heavy, because gratitude has a way of making room where sorrow once lived. The truth is, every stage of life has something to offer. Youth offers energy. Adulthood offers purpose. Old age offers perspective. When you are young, you collect experiences. When you are older, you finally understand them. That understanding is a gift earned through time, a gift earned through mistakes, a gift earned through loss, love, joy, and endurance. If I could sit across from my younger self today, I would tell him a few simple things. I would tell him not to worry so much. I would tell him to spend more time with the people he loves. I would tell him that most of the things keeping him awake at night will not matter 20 years from now. I would tell him to appreciate ordinary days. I would tell him to stop rushing. I would tell him to laugh more often. I would tell him to forgive faster. And above all, I would tell him to be present, because life is happening now, not next year, not after retirement, not after success arrives, not after everything becomes perfect. Life is happening this very moment. Do not miss it while waiting for something else. As this story comes to an end, I want to leave you with one final message. Whether you are 25, 45, 65, or 95, remember this one day. The things you worry about today will no longer matter. One day, your possessions will belong to someone else. One day, your achievements will become memories. One day, your schedule will be empty. One day, all that will remain are the relationships you built, the kindness you showed, and the love you shared. That is your true legacy. Not what you owned, not what you earned, not what people thought about you, but how you treated others. So call the person you have been meaning to call. Visit the person you have been meaning to visit. Forgive the person you need to forgive. Tell people you love them. Create memories while there is still time. And if you ever find yourself alone in a quiet house someday, remember my words. The value of your life has never depended on how many people visit you. Your value comes from the simple fact that you are here. You have lived, you have loved, you have survived, you have learned. And that alone is something worth honoring. Thank you for sitting with me. Thank you for listening. And if no one visits me anymore, then let this be the message I leave behind. Life is shorter than you think. Love is more important than you realize. Kindness matters more than success. And the people sitting quietly in the background of your life today may become the people you miss the most tomorrow. So cherish them while you still can, before another year passes, before another opportunity is lost, before another goodbye arrives. Because in the end, it is not the things we collected that give life meaning. It is the hearts we touched, the memories we created, and the love we shared along the way. And that, my friend, is a life well lived.